Welcome back students. Students, in today's science class we will study about microorganisms, friend and foe. So student, in this chapter we will study about what are microorganisms and what are its classification. Then we will study about food preservation and food poisoning. So let's start with our today's topic, that is microorganisms. If we can't see microorganism with our naked eyes, then how we can see microorganism? There is a device which we call microscope. Through microscope we can see microorganism like bacteria, protozoa and many other microorganism. Students, first scientist who discovered microorganism, the name of the scientist was Anton van Leeuwenhoek. So 1677 Anton van Leeuwenhoek was looking a drop of pond water under a microscope. So he found tiny living things moving about in the water and he called them tiny organisms or microorganisms. And students, you know, the study of microorganisms is called microbiology. Our next topic is types of microorganisms. Microorganisms are classified into four major groups. What are these major groups? The names are bacteria, fungi, protozoa and some algae. You can see here bacteria, like example coccus, bacillus, spiralium, fungi, bread molds, penicillium, asparagus, then protozoa, amoeba, paramecium, plasmodium, in algae, chlamydomonas and spirogyra. So these are the few examples of microorganism. Our next topic is shapes of bacteria. Bacteria are present in different forms. So on the basis of shape, bacteria is classified as comma shaped bacteria, spherical shaped bacteria, rod shaped bacteria and spiral shaped bacteria. If we talk about the comma shaped bacteria, they are look like a comma and the example is Vibrio cholera. Spherical shaped bacteria, in this the bacteria look like a spherical shape or we call it coccus forms, and example is staphylococcus or streptococcus. Then rod shaped bacteria, the bacteria which are rod shaped and it is also known as a bacillus, and these are with or without flagella, and the example is E. coli and Salmonella. Spiral shaped bacteria which is also called spirilla, and the example is Treponema or Bodilla. Next topic is how are viruses different from other microbes. So what are viruses? Viruses are the microscopic and most primitive organism known to man, and they show the characteristic of living as well as non-living beings. They are so small that we cannot see these viruses with a light microscope. So we have to use like electron microscope. So through that electron microscope viruses are visible. Viruses do not have a cellular structure like other organisms. Viruses are much smaller as compared to bacteria and they are present in a variety of shape and sizes. Now here you can see types of viruses like HIV viruses, hepatitis B, Ebola virus, adenovirus, influenza, bacteriophage. So these are the few types of viruses. And students, you know, common ailments like cold, influenza which we call flu, and most cough, these are caused by viruses, and some serious diseases like polio and chicken pox are also caused by viruses. Our next topic is where do microorganisms live? Students, microorganisms is either a single celled or multicellular. Single celled means the microorganism which is made up of single cell, and multicellular means the microorganism which is made up of many cells. Single cell like algae, protozoa, bacteria, and multicellular like fungi, and some algae is also there who are multicellular. So students, microbe can survive in all types of environment, like from icy cold climate to hot spring, like in any kind of temperature, and desert to marshy lands. So they are also found inside the bodies of animals including human being also. And some microorganisms grow on other microorganisms while others exist freely. So microorganisms like amoeba, they can live alone while fungi and bacteria may live in colonies. So in this way we can say that microbes can survive in all kinds of environment. Our next topic is microorganism and us. Students, microorganisms play a very important role in our lives. Some of the microorganisms are beneficial for us and some others are harmful and cause diseases. So let us study about them in detail. You can see here the uses of microorganism, like microorganism is used for preparation of curd, bread and cake, production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid, preparation of medicines and vaccines, cleaning up the environment, increasing soil fertility. Whereas some microorganism is harmful for us, like they cause diseases in plants, animals and human beings, spoil the food, cause food poisoning. Now we will study one by one how are bacteria useful to us. So students, bacteria are used for various purposes, like they used in cleaning up the environment. For example, it decomposes organic wastes. Then it is used in preparation of medicines. In agriculture, bacteria are used to increase soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. Then it is used in preparation of curd, bread and cake. How bacteria is helpful in making curd? So you already studied in class 7 that milk is turned into curd by bacteria. So student, curd contains several microorganisms like a bacteria. The name of the bacteria is a lactobacillus. So this bacterium promotes the formation of curd and it multiplies in milk and convert the milk into curd. Now our next topic is how is yeast useful to us. You already studied about yeast also. So yeast is basically used in the baking industry to make bread, pastries and cake because it helps in fermentation. So student, what is fermentation? Fermentation is the process by which yeast convert sugar into alcohol, right? And it was discovered by Louis Pasteur in 1857. So yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. So the bubbles of the gas which fill the dough and increase its volume. So this is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making bread, pastries and cake. Yeast is also used in commercial production of alcohol and wine, which is done by growing yeast on natural sugars which is present in fruit juices and grains like rice, wheat and barley. So through this they can make alcohol and wine with the help of yeast. Our next topic is what are antibiotics, what are their uses, or we can say the medicinal uses of microorganism. Students, whenever we fall ill, so you have seen that the doctor give us some antibiotic tablets, capsules or injection. So what are the sources of these medicine? So the sources of these medicines is microorganism. So these medicines kill the or stop the growth of the disease causing microorganism, and such medicines are called antibiotics. For example, penicillin. Penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1929. Actually, he was working on a culture of diseases causing bacteria. So all of a sudden, he found the spores of a little green mold in one of his culture plates. So after some time, he observed the presence of mold which prevented the growth of bacteria. So it also killed many of these bacteria. So from this, the mold penicillin was prepared. Now these days, number of antibiotics are being produced from bacteria and fungi. For example, streptomycin, terracycline, erythromycin. These are the some common known antibiotics which are made from the fungi and bacteria. And students, these antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and which are used to cure variety of diseases. And antibiotics even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infections in animals, and also used to control many plant diseases. And so one important thing to remember that antibiotics should be taken only on the advice of qualified doctor. Also, we have to must complete the course which is prescribed by the doctor. And if we take antibiotics when not needed or if we take wrong dose, so what will happen? It may make the drug less effective when you might need it in future. and antibiotic also taken unnecessarily may kill the beneficial bacteria which is inside our body. And students, antibiotics are not effective against cold and flu. The reason is because cold and flu are caused by viruses. So antibiotics are not working on viruses. Our next topic is vaccine. Before starting this topic, you must know about few terms like pathogens, antibodies, vaccine, vaccination. First, we will talk about pathogen. What is pathogen? Pathogens are disease causing microbes or microorganisms which we call pathogens. What are antibodies? Antibodies are the substances which is produced by our body to fight causing microbes or microorganisms. Then what is vaccine? Vaccines are weakened or dead disease causing microbes which are injected in our body to trigger the production of antibodies. And you know that these antibodies remain in the body for a long time to protect it against any attack of disease causing microbes. Then vaccination, the process of protecting our body from any pathogen with the help of vaccines, we called it vaccination. So when a disease carrying microbes enter in our body, so what our body do? Our body start producing antibodies to fight the foreign particle. So the body remembers how to fight the microbe if it enters again. So if dead or weakened microbe which are introduced in a healthy body, the body fights and kill them by producing suitable antibodies which we call vaccination. The antibodies remain in the body for a long time as I already explained you, and we are protected from the disease causing microorganism. There are the list of some diseases which can be prevented by vaccination, that is cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, hepatitis. So these are the diseases which can be prevented by vaccination. So when there was a scientist, the name of the scientist is Edward Jenner. This scientist has discovered the vaccine for smallpox in 1798. So a worldwide campaign against smallpox has been finally led to its eradication from most parts of the world. Next topic is how do microbes clean up the environment. So you have seen that large amount of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. After some time you have seen that that dead organic matter is disappear. So how they disappear? So this is because the microorganisms or microbes which decompose these dead organic waste of plants and animals, and they converting them in a simpler substances, and these substances are again used by the other plants and animal. So in this way microorganism can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances, and thereby they help in cleaning up the environment. Our next topic is increasing soil fertility. So hence microorganisms are like some bacteria is there which help in increasing the fertility of the soil. How? Like some bacteria and blue-green algae, they are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. Students, you already studied in 6th and 7th standard that plants cannot take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. So there are some bacteria or like blue-green algae. So there are some microorganisms which reside in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, and they help in the fixing the atmospheric nitrogen from the air into the soil, and in this way they increase the fertility of the soil, and these microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixer. You can see here this is the image of blue-green algae which help in the nitrogen fixation. So thank you students and have a wonderful day.